What if there was a precise map of exactly how you're wired to create what you want? Not a personality quiz, not a vibe, an actual map. 7 coordinates unique to you. Well, there is. It's called the Manifesting Blueprint, and it's an actual thing held in the seventh dimension of your Akashic records. And it's the most useful thing I have ever found for understanding why some things come easy and other things feel like you're pushing a boulder uphill your entire life. Quick thing, in case we haven't met, my name is Sandra J Wilson. I read soul blueprints for a living. And I go into the Akashic records and read how a person is built to create and where they've drifted from that creating. And I'm not talking from theory. I have lost everything in my life. 2 homes, my husband, my entire identity after that. I started over from nothing at 53 years old. So when I say I know what it feels like when life looks fine on the outside and but something underneath still feels off, I actually mean it. But today I'm handing you the framework for the manifesting blueprint. And here's where it starts. We create the way we were created. Your soul came in with a specific design for how it makes things happen, held at the least dense level where there's still a you that's separate from everything else. You don't need the physics. Here's what matters. The design switches on when you intentionally set out to create something new, to shift your state and pull you into different circumstances. The rest of the time, when you're just living, it hums quietly in the background. So this isn't something you need to obsess over every second. That's a really important point. It's the map that you're going to pull out when you decide you want to build something. Okay. Now, before we go any further, the single most important thing about this map is the numbers. The numbers are not scores or percentages. There's no good number. There's no bad number. Nobody's winning. Nobody's losing. A 15 is not worse than an 85. It's just a different place to stand. So each number will tell you where you naturally operate on a spectrum between 2 ways of creating. It's navigation, not judgment. So your blueprint is already perfectly matched for you. So hold on to that, because the second you see your own numbers, your brain wants to rank them. Please don't, okay? So here's the whole map at a glance. 7 dials, 7 questions about how you're built to create. Each one runs from a different way of operating through the middle to its complete opposite. So don't try to memorize this. We're going to take them one at a time in plain English with real examples so you can feel where you might land. Here we go. First comparative is called Similarity and Contrast. The first one's about how you move toward what you want. Some people create by belonging. They come alive around people like them, doing what's working for people they admire. Others create by standing apart. Being the only one in the room doing it their way is what lights them up. And fitting in for them feels like they're dying a little. So land in the middle. You're going to want a little bit of both, your tribe and the room to be distinct one inside of it. So which pull do you think you're feeling right now? So write it down. Let's be interactive here. Now, process versus outcome is your next comparative. This one's about what actually drives you. Some people are in love with the doing. The work has to feel right when they're doing it, enjoying the process, in other words. And the goal is not even important. It's a secondary thing, because the goal will happen if the process is enjoyed. Really important point. Others run on the destination, the goal, dollar signs. They need a clear, specific picture of what they're creating, and that picture is their fuel. That, by the way, is who vision boards were built for, okay? Now, in the middle, you're going to need a little bit of both. Are you feeling which way you lean when it comes to those two? The next one is internal and external. Never, ever confuse it with introvert and extrovert, because you can be an external person and be a complete introvert. So let's just be clear. So where do you look to create change? For some, it's an inside job. They work things out alone, and solitude fuels them. And when they change their relationship with themselves, the outer world follows. It has to. That's the law. For others, it's the opposite. It's the outside in. They think out loud, they read the room, and isolation feels genuinely disorienting. The middle needs a little bit of both. Now picture someone on the opposite of you trying to follow your exact advice. It's useless to them. That's the whole point of this video, is to show you the contrast. Next, we're up to consistent and variable. Now, how you actually make the shift happen. Some people move the needle by doing one focused thing over and over until it lands, and others shift by doing a bunch of small different things all at once, all pointing the same way. And being forced to repeat one thing would bore them senseless and stall them out. The middle is a variety within a lane. Where do you see yourself landing on this comparative? Think about it. Next, we're into reinventive and innovative. Now, this one's about where your ideas come from. Some people take what already exists and make it theirs. Brilliant remixers, give them something to build on and they'll improve it. But a blank page, oh my goodness, freeze. That's me. Others have to build their own way from scratch, and following someone else's method feels like wearing shoes that just don't fit. And the middle does both at once. Which do you think you are? Instigative and reactive. Where does your urge to change even come from? For some, it bubbles up from the inside. Even when it looks fine on paper, they'll shake it up a perfectly good situation because something says more. For others, change comes in response to what's around them. Great opportunity spotters, these people. But the trap is staying busy instead of creating. That's the fall line. Now, the middle needs both an inner nudge and an outer signal. Do you recognize yourself yet? And integrative versus exclusive. And the last one is about how you make room for the new. Some people create by adding. They spot what's missing and pull it in. Others create, obviously, by subtracting. They get clear on what they don't want. They clear it out. They make space for what's next. But the right next. The middle is crystal clear on what they do and what they don't want. Which way do you create? Now, here's the thing that ties it all together. It's really essential. And it's why you can't just grab that one dial that sounded most like you and run with it. You don't read these one at a time. They work together. They combine all 7 into one single way of creating that's yours and nobody else's. Now, your raw intention runs through all 7. And what comes out of the other side is action. And that's actually aligned to your design. That's the whole game. Now, I'm going to show you my blueprint. Now, so let me make this more tangible and real for you. So this is my actual blueprint. This is what I give to my clients. Very simple, 2 columns. One side, 7th dimension, other side, the gap, the 3rd dimension of actually how you're creating in real life. So the first one is where I was designed to create from my perfect blueprint. And so look at them. So most of them are within a few points of each other. I'm living pretty close to my design, but look at process and outcome. I'm designed at a 27. Deep process. I create by being inside the work, enjoying it as I'm doing it. But I was operating at a 51. I was in fear mode. I drifted because I was chasing the numbers, the dollar signs, the goals. I was like, I've got to make this money. I've got to do this. I've got to do that to make this money. But I wasn't enjoying anything I was doing because I was so focused on the outcome. Now, some people, outcome people, will love that. They love the outcome part of it because their process becomes natural to them. They know exactly what to do because they're focused on the outcome. For those of us who are process, we need to enjoy what we're doing and the outcome will happen automatically. And that's a hard thing for people to grasp, especially after you've been through a lot of loss and a lot of life change, is that you're so focused on what you don't have and you're chasing something that's not going to happen for you. So I just want to use that as an example. I was chasing goals and metrics that everyone told me to do. And that gap, it had me running against my own blueprint, as I said. It's the one I needed to calibrate first. And that is what this work is. It's never all 7. It's usually just 1 or 2 that you've drifted off of. The maximum I've had so far is 3 with a client because most of the time we're operating pretty well, but it's those 3 that can stop us from manifesting exactly what we want. So we need to find those, correct them, and everything downstream starts to move. It starts to jive. And here's where it gets personal, especially if you've been through that loss, because loss will scramble your inner compass. You rebuild from whatever still works, from that survival mode, from that instinct, not from a clear read of who you are. And that's what I really wanted to emphasize. And survival almost always knocks you onto the wrong side of your own design. It's just the way it is. People built to expand start contracting. People built to let go start grabbing onto everything. And then you wonder why the rebuilt life looks fine and it still feels wrong. It doesn't feel like yours. And that's why you catch your reflection and you don't recognize the person living it. And it's not a character flaw by any means. It's a blueprint that was never recalibrated after the loss. And it can be. It can be. That's the good news. And it can be fun. And that's what I want. I want it to be fun. How do you even know you're off? How? You work twice as hard for half the results. Is that you? The methods that work for everyone else drain you. That's another way to tell. You feel like you're failing at something that should be simple. That exhaustion is the tell. So I want you to know also that you're not one trait. You're a constellation. You're 7 coordinates, and that only means something when you read them together. But I've saved the most important part for last because it's actually the part that comes first. Before I read a single one of your 7 comparatives, before I even touch the manifesting blueprint, I read something deeper. I go into the 5th dimension and I read your soul profile, who you are at soul level, what your true soul's purpose is, and how you operate. And that's the core makeup of your soul, your energy centers, the actual building blocks underneath everything. And it has to come first, and it's not optional, and it's not an add-on, because the 7 comparatives tell me how you create, but they mean nothing until I know who is doing the creating. The exact same coordinates look completely different on 2 different souls. Even if someone had your exact manifesting blueprint, but they were a different energy center, it would read differently because we all do something different for a living. And of course, there would never be 2 people that had the exact same coordinates, but I'm just using that as an example. So read the blueprint without the profile, and you're reading only half a person. They work together, hand in hand. And that's why I also never read a blueprint cold. Ever. Read who you are first, then how you create, then where you drifted from it. Then I look at the gap. That order isn't a preference, it's the whole philosophy. The soul always comes first. Everything else, the strategy, the how, the action comes second. And you find out both by working with me. So how do you get any of this? Not from a quiz, not a guess. It's read straight from your Akashic record, the profile and the blueprint, both. That's the session. It's the one thing this video can't give you. Sorry to say. I can show you the dials all day, but I can't read yours from here. And honestly, neither can you. So here's where we go from here. In the last video, part 4, I'm pulling this whole series together and showing you exactly what to do with all of it. Subscribe so it finds you. And if you already know you want yours read, not guessed, the link is below. Always remember, soul first, strategy second.